What it do, T Squad? It's your girl Keisha, aka Color Me Pynk, and I am here with this week's All Tea, All Shade Real Housewives of New Jersey Season 13 Reunion Part 1. Sorry it's up late. I've been having some eye issues, and next week I might be having an eye procedure done, so I might have to be out for another day or two depending on what happens, but I'll keep you all in tune with what's going on. So just pray for me and my eyes, you guys, okay? But let's get into this reunion. So right when the reunion kicks off, Teresa starts with her dramatics, having Andy to touch her chest because her heart is just beating so fast. Oh my God, she's under so much stress, Lord. So Andy asks her and Melissa, what are your goals for today? And Teresa was like, I want to close the door. I wish her well, and I want to close that chapter. It is over. So Melissa says, I think there's a lot that needs to come out, but yes, I want to close it in peace. So they're both ready for war, all right? So Andy says, what's been the biggest adjustment with Teresa, new marriage? And she says, my family hurting us before we got married. Here my family is hurting him. And me and Melissa was like, how they hurting him? Make it make sense. What have they done to Louis? And Melissa was like, how did we hurt him? I was the one being accused of cheating. Like, huh, girl? Make it make sense. But it's obvious. Teresa just says the first thing that pops up in that little pea brain of hers, because her brain is literally this big. Like, it's just a little pinhole of a brain. So Andy asks why Dina wasn't in the wedding, and Teresa lies and said that she didn't want to be on camera. She didn't want anyone to know that she was coming to the wedding. Girl, I call cap on that once again, because she knew beforehand that it was going to be on camera. This wasn't something that she found out just 3 weeks prior to the wedding. Contracts and all of that had to be signed months in advance, child. So she already knew she was going to be on camera. Y'all got into it behind the scenes over some stuff. So just stop with the narrative. So Melissa says that Joe talked to Dina's man, and her man don't want to be on a television show or whatever the case may be. So Joe was actually in the wrong for even putting that information out on television. And I appreciate the fact that Melissa said, yeah, my husband was wrong. He ain't had no business, bringing it up on camera, whether it was true or not. Accountability, folks, accountability. Maybe that hood was an accountability cloak. How in Harry Potter he had his invisibility cloak. That was her accountability cloak. So Teresa says that she didn't invite Melissa's mama to her wedding because she didn't want to have to invite the rest of her family. Basically, I don't like none of you hoes, and I don't want none of y'all at my wedding. So Teresa was like, they weren't on my mind. And Melissa says, but they were on your mind when you wanted to introduce Louis to family. Okay. And remember, Louis agreed to that. Like, yeah, I met her family. I like her mom, this, that, and the third. And Teresa says that when she was single, that they never asked her out to dinner. They, never invited her to stuff or whatever. Baby, you go on Melissa's Instagram page, scroll back to 2019, scroll back to 2020. That's all you see is Melissa and Teresa together at family functions, Sunday dinner. This wasn't just for holidays. Like, they were kicking it tough when Teresa was single. So that's a lie and a half. And Melissa was even on there saying, she was like, I got plenty of pictures to prove otherwise. And if you scroll down on Teresa's page, I'm sure she hasn't went back and deleted all of those photographs too, because she had photographs of her and Melissa all on her page. I followed both of them, and I witnessed it with my own two eyes, them kicking it tough during that time. So that's cap. That's 100% cap. So Melissa even comes with receipts. She was like, okay, we went out on a double date on this night with my neighbor that you found attractive. And Teresa's like, oh, that was another night. Well, girl, you just sit up here and said that she ain't never asked y'all out. And even Andy was like, girl, you just contradicted yourself. Like, you getting caught in your lies already. We ain't nothing but 5 minutes in. So Teresa says that Louis never wanted to be on camera. Girl, if Louis never wanted to be on camera, I got long hair all the way down my back. Girl, what? Louis is the most opportunist person I have ever seen in my life. That little red lobster wants to be on camera, honey. He is the lobster and you are them garlic cheese breads. Child, but he trying to knock you out the way so he could be the star of the show. So Melissa was like, he didn't want to be on camera. He most definitely wanted to be on camera. And she says, just like he ain't know who you were before he met you, which we all know was a lie and a half. And Margaret jumped in and was like, he wanted to date Alexia from Miami first. And I 100% believe it. 100% believe that. Remember those reports came out that he was trying to figure out which lady he was going to try to, date or whatever to get onto the show. Like, it's obvious Teresa is being used for fame. I believe also for money. I heard this week that he got like a new job or something that he's doing, because the other one, was some fraud type stuff. So since she's been called out again on her crap, Teresa then goes into her spiel about how this will be the last time Melissa's on this show and that she got to see her face because she is out of here. You're fired. You're fired. And it was truly sad because if you looked at Melissa's face in that scene, like, she just went completely like numb and kind of like you could see the sadness on her face, and she was just like sad because I think that she really got scared in that moment, like, damn, I know she got a lot of power on this show and could possibly aid in me being fired from this show. Like, she would really go that far to get me off of here. And I felt so bad for her. I really honestly do. But then on the flip side of it, I feel like both of them need to go. Honest to God truth. I feel like Joe and Melissa don't really have no storyline outside of fighting with Teresa. And I feel like Teresa ain't got no storyline unless she lying on somebody, setting up somebody, or getting into it with her brother and sister-in-law. You know what I'm saying? So you've had, your divorce. You've gotten remarried now. Let's send her off into the sunset like they did Cynthia. You've had your full circle moment. Now it's time to move on. Do I think that there's a show for Teresa outside of Housewives? Yes. I think that it would be dope to see her, Louis and his 2 sons and her 4 daughters, and have like a Kardashian type show. You have 4 beautiful daughters that are now, getting up there in age, even though their youngest one ain't number like 12 years old and look like she 35. But you can follow their dating lives and being in college, what they're about to do. You and Louis and y'all fake ass love bubble, your disabled stepson, like all of you got a storyline there. You know what I'm saying? For that. But I feel like both of their time on the show is done and over with, and they both honestly need to go. But it just cracked me up that Teresa thinks that she is an executive producer on the show. Andy said, oh, she going somewhere? Oh, okay, well, I guess we gonna see. Like, Andy was looking like in his head like, oh, this bitch got the Nene complex. Oh, she got the Vicky Gunvalson complex where she thinks she really running something. And I got to show her that this ain't your show, love. This is my show. And I don't understand why the Teresas of the world don't get it that Bravo ain't got no qualms firing you heifers. No qualms. They paying y'all millions. Millions. I'm pretty sure Teresa getting $1 million per season at this point. You think that they wouldn't want to fire you to save on budget and be able to bring in 2-3 more people? Just as well as Nene, Vicky, Dorinda, and all them other girls that got fired, girl, you are not unfireable, okay? Love. And Danielle already coming for your spot anyway. So Dolores reveals that Pauline ain't divorced and that him and his wife been separated for quite some time, like some years. And he didn't get a divorce because it wasn't so much of a big deal up until now. And see, this is my problem with Dolores, is you already boring as shit. You don't have no storylines. And then the stuff that you do need to be talking about, you don't talk about it. Just like your relationship with the doctor who didn't pay you no attention and you made excuses for y'all lackluster relationship, okay? Then you get with this man and the whole season it's never brought up that this man's still married. What, girl? You already a punk and don't never want to stand up to Teresa, and now you over here withholding information. Goodbye, Dolores. Get her off my screen. I'm sick of her. So Danielle says that she gonna see her brother at her grandmother's funeral. This will be the first time in like 2 years. And I was like, well, it don't seem like he gonna really be talking to you much at the funeral because you done got on television and blasted all your business. And then she goes on to say that this is his favorite television show. Well, isn't that convenient? This is his favorite television show. Yet he doesn't want to be on television. Yet my whole storyline this whole season is how my brother and me don't talk. Girl, the setup is so real for this man to be on the show and for them to recreate Joe and Melissa and Teresa. But okay. Danielle admits that Margaret was nice to her and that she tried to help her. Once again, you turned your back on Margaret. Margaret never once did anything to that woman this season. Go back and watch the season if you do not remember. That lady never attacked her, never said nothing about her. Danielle was the one that started with Margaret. Okay, she the one that started coming after Margaret from the jump with trying to side with Teresa and Jennifer and believing what this Laura lady had to say and repeating stuff. She started it. Okay, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. She started it. So Melissa says that, she liked Danielle and, even she tried to help her out. Teresa says, because you're a newbie, they wanted to lure you over to their side. There was never any trying to lure any of those girls onto their side because that's what y'all was doing. You and Jennifer were trying to sway Rachel and Danielle over to y'all side, and y'all did it blatantly and bluntly on camera. It's just like, y'all are maddening. So, Margaret says, you and your tree stumps. When she called Teresa Fair tree stumps, I hollered. And Teresa's so dumb and dingy. She told me some tree stumps. What do you look like? And Margaret said, I'm not calling you a tree stump. Like it just totally went over her head. Oh my God, that lady is dumb. Dumb, da-dum, dumb. Dumb, da-dum, dumb, dumb. So Marge then mentions how Danielle is, getting endorsements since she been on the show. Baby, just the word endorsement sent Jen spiraling. I don't need endorsement. I'm just happy to be on the show. I've never been looking for endorsements. It's like, calm down, Mrs. Bush, because she's sitting up here looking like Barbara Bush in that horrible outfit. So Margaret admits that Rachel and Danielle's conversation that they had at their little boutique that day wasn't that big of a deal. It really wasn't. So Rachel and Danielle, after going back and forth, decide that from this day forward, they're going to make a truce to leave what happened this season in the past and move forward. We all know that's not going to work. It's not going to happen. They don't like each other. So Andy says, a viewer asked the question that, Antonia seems like such a sweet girl. Why publicly shame her for not attending your daughter's Sweet 16? And Teresa's like, I shouldn't have even answered it because it was a setup question. Rachel was like, it wasn't. I even felt like it was a setup question. It most definitely was a setup question, Rachel. And I need for you to be real about that. You most definitely was setting it up for it to be some foolishness. And Teresa took the bait. She 100% took the bait. You knew what she was doing right there. So Teresa says her girls don't hate Melissa. Girl, if your daughters don't hate Melissa, I'm a size 2. Them little girls can't stand her. Hate might be a strong word, but they don't like her at all. And they make it blatantly known that they don't like her. So, and I think that a lot of that has to do with Teresa. So Teresa brings up Joe saying that they put food on their table when Teresa was in jail because Joe Giudices couldn't work during that time because this was doing they little Fed stuff or whatever. And what was said on their podcast, on Melissa's podcast, Joe made the comment that you know, without us, he wouldn't have been able to put, or they wouldn't have been able to put food on the table because Teresa was in jail and Joe couldn't work and he needed somebody to film with for the Teresa behind bars special or whatever it was, because who else did he have to film with that was of relevance? They didn't talk to Kathy and them anymore, so he couldn't film with them. So the only people that he would have been able to film with outside of Melissa and Joe was the girls, and that was only gonna go but so far at that point. You know what I'm saying? So there was validity in what Joe said. Like, without us, if we didn't do the reality show with him, y'all wouldn't have had no reality show. You know what I'm saying? But y'all don't take that into accountability, that when y'all needed us, we were right there for y'all. So I feel like what he said was right. It was the way that he said it. He should have worded it in a different way. And I will say that very much. So Teresa then says that Joe only visited her in jail once. And Melissa was like, because you didn't put him on the list. You didn't put him on the list until y'all got the show and started filming. Like, and we all know this is the type of crap that Teresa does. She plays games. Like, she is just a real life Maleficent. She is crazy. So Teresa was like, you know, this is all coming out today because I'm never seeing your face again. Jacqueline told me so much stuff that you and Joe were doing. She told me they were hanging out with Joe's ex-partner that outed me. And Melissa was like, okay, just like Caroline Manzo put you in jail. And Teresa's like, no, I take that back. I think you did it. Girl, everybody to blame for y'all going to jail except for the man you was married to that put you in the position to go to jail. It don't matter who snitched on you, the love. It's the fact that your husband was over there frauding folks and stealing money that wasn't his, had you signing documents knowing that your dumb tail didn't know what you were signing and putting your lives in jeopardy. You mad at everybody else except for the person you should be mad at. But you a kiki on the phone with him and cried all this. But Caroline, Jacqueline, Joe, Melissa all get your butt to kiss. Make it make sense, love. Now Joe and Melissa the one sent you to jail, child. Baby, everybody that sent you to jail. Do I think that them people sent them to jail? No. I think that if anything happened, it was Joe finding out the information that Joe Giudices was out here doing some stuff that he wasn't doing, and he probably did go to the IRS about Joe, not knowing that it would be linked to Teresa. I think that could have possibly happened. Do I think Melissa had anything to do with it? No. If anything happened, I think that it was Joe Gorgas. Yes, if it happened. But I don't know. We may never know who did it. But at the end of the day, love, your husband don't want to put you in that predicament. So that's who you need to be mad at. Okay? And then this new one, Lobster Tail, about to have you in a clinker again because he ain't no good. Girl, you got bigger things to worry about. Okay? And when it all come crumbling down, you're going to be looking real stupid because you done excommunicated your brother and your sister-in-law, your only family, out your life. Overall, I'm going to give Reunion Part 1 an A. It was really good. It got me riled up. They was pissing me off. Y'all let me know what y'all thought about Reunion Part 1 down below in the comment section, you guys. Make sure to thumbs up this video, like and subscribe, and hit that notification bell button. I love you guys, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.